Well, today we're going to talk about optimizing your success in reaching a healthy weight. We're going to get back to the basics. As you begin your journey to optimal health and well-being, the primary focus on reaching a healthy weight, there are some very important guidelines that may create some confusion for you. This is not what we want, so we are going to address them in this element to make sure you understand why we, your coaches, are asking you to do what seems counterintuitive to your overall success. So we're going to answer some of those questions. We're going to spend most of our time in phase 1 today, but this is the phases that we are going to be going through. If you're not on mute, if you can mute yourself, because we're hearing the scratching in the speaker, that would be awesome. But anyways, the stages are, we start out probably overweight, maybe into the obese category. And we're going to talk about the phase 1 today, which is the weight loss phase. But as you know, our program is designed to get us into all the different phases. So after we get through the phase 1, we're going to move into phase 2, which is the healthy weight. So that's after you get to your goal. And then phase 3, optimization, into the longevity of phase 4. But phase 4 is forever. So we are constantly moving towards the healthiest us and always working on being the healthiest we can be for ourselves. So today we're going to really focus mostly on phase 1. No fruit or extra carbohydrates during phase 1. That is a big question a lot of people have asked, is why can't I have fruit? Yes, fruit's great for you, but no fruit during phase 1, and are using prepared fuelings. We ask you not to eat any fruit or additional carbs. We have always been told that fruit is essential for long-term health. This is absolutely correct. Fruits are an amazing source of nutrients, antioxidants, and many other optimal healthy compounds. In the future, beyond phase 1, a healthy consumption of fruit will actually help you maintain your healthy weight and act as a key component of our healthy eating system. So fruit, most of us enjoy fruit, and especially different seasons that it's in. But while you're on phase 1, getting to your healthy weight, we don't want to add any extra carbohydrates into the program. We want to make sure we're sticking with eating our fuelings, having our lean and green, because it's short term for the long-term goal. Eventually, fruit definitely is going to be added back into what we're doing on a daily basis.
Why no fruit or extra carbohydrates during phase 1? Fruits have a considerable amount of carbs, which is mostly in the form of sugar. Fruits have high glycemic index and deliver a high carb load. This will not allow you to get into a fat burning state and can take you out of a fat burning state. It will not allow you to remove your excess visceral fat. That's fat stored around your organs and fat stored in your arteries. The body is efficient. It will always go for the easiest fuel source. It'll go first for the accessible carbs, meaning those things that are in those sugars, like what you find in fruit. And then it'll go for the stored carbs. If you don't provide it the fruit, it now is going to search for its next easiest form of energy, which will be the stored carbs. After we go through the stored carbs, which takes about 3 to 4 days, this is why we always say it takes about 4 days to get into fat burn, it will then go for finally the fat. And that's where we want to get our form of energy from, okay? So this is why we're asking you not to eat the fruit, not to eat extra carbs that are already provided on program, okay? Because we want to get to the fat.
Here's a good picture. This is in your Habits of Health book. And it just explains that if you increase the carb level above a certain threshold, over 100 carbs per day, it will stimulate insulin secretion and shut down the fat burning machinery. So with the program, if you're following it exactly like you're supposed to, you're doing, if you're on the 5 and 1, you're doing the 5 and 1, not the 5 and 1-ish. kind of doing it, you're going to get between 80 and 100 grams of carbs. And that's going to make it to where your body is using the stored fat. But when we're adding additional carbs and sugars, that's what's going to be eaten first. So it will slow down your progress. Doesn't mean it's going to stop it, but it definitely is going to slow it down.
During phase one, we have turned off the insulin pump by specifically avoiding excessive carbs, resulting in the body using fat as its energy or fuel source to supplement beyond the energy and nutrition source, the fuelings in the lean and green. We say the 100 carbs, the program will give you about 80 to 100 carbs a day. Anything over 100 carbs, for most people throughout the day, you're going to burn, your body will naturally burn somewhere near 100 carbs a day, okay? Any exercise and things, we'll talk about that later. As you get into it, you may be burning more. But at this point, what we're trying to do really is to stay below that 100 carb threshold, because at 100 carbs, after you reach over the 100 carbs, your body's going to take those extra carbs and store it. And it's going to store it into your fat cells. Okay, well, that's what we're trying to get rid of. Okay, it'll first store it into as stored carbs. Most stored carbs are in livers and other areas. But once it's the body has to do something with those stored carbs to turn it into fat. We're wanting to get to that fat and burn that fat. That's why we're asking you to just do programs the way it's designed, so you're not doing those extra carbs.
After reaching a healthy weight and eliminating the excess unhealthy fat, we will reintroduce fruit and recommend you fill a fourth of your plate with it at every healthy meal. So not eating it at the beginning doesn't mean you're not going to be eating it every single day. In fact, that's one of the earlier things we add back into your diet once you get to that goal. After, I think it's the second week, we start adding fruit, and you're going to have 2 servings of fruit every single day. So short-term, long-term goal. So we could do anything short-term. And another thing is, once you get to your goal, do not just stop and say, okay, I'm at my goal, and then go right into what you're considering maintenance. Following the program into each phase is very important for you to have that success beyond the 5 and 1. So transition is really, really important. It's one of the most important parts of the program, because that's where it takes it away from being a diet. We're adding things back in gradually so that our body knows how to deal with the additional carbs and the other sources of food that we're going to be eating at that point. No or reduced exercise during the first 3 weeks of phase 1. Habits of healthy motion is a macro habit in our system. When we switch your body over to a fat burning state, it is important to optimize the conditions for success. Your body is switching fuel sources, and it's not accustomed to using fat as its main source of energy. Over a period of weeks, the body will adjust. We will add more healthy motion then. So don't add any extreme exercise when you're starting a new program with your eating.
Continue. Since we are dropping calorie intake, we must go slow. If not, there is a chance you'll become hypoglycemic or have low blood sugar and not feel well. In this state, the body releases hormones such as cortisol and epinephrine, which may actually slow down your weight loss. If you have a lot of weight to lose, a sudden increase in exercise may cause injury. We ask that you wait until you have lost weight and improved stamina to begin exercise. Remember, our fuelings are primarily for you to lose weight in phase 1. In phase 2 and beyond, more motion and exercise become primary component to maintaining health and well-being.
That's exactly right. So, current minimal activity. You are probably going to start losing your unhealthy fat without any additional need to increase your activity. After the first 3 weeks, we will increase your activity in baby steps as outlined in our system. And that's where, when we talked about the neat and eat, that's where this really comes in play. Our plan is designed to ease you into a world of fitness. Exercise plays a minimal role in weight loss in the beginning of phase 1. Exercise plays a more vital role once you move from phase 1 into phase 2 and beyond with a proper healthy diet. If you did not get to listen to the trainings we did on Neat and Eat, where we add exercise and movement, ask your coach. They can send you the recording on both of those. So if you start the program and you're already working out, I would really suggest cutting back to half of what you're already doing. It isn't like you have to go cold turkey and not exercise at all. So cutting back on exercise for 3 weeks. Stick with stretching or limited exercise that doesn't make you sweat. It is virtually impossible to lose weight consistently with exercise alone without diet modification. This is where we've said before, you can't outrun a bad diet. When working out, you experience what is called compensation. Compensation is a state in which you become so hungry you tend to eat more to make up for the calorie deficit. This explains why, despite your diligence, you will not be losing weight as desired. Many will see more muscles now that the layer of fat is subsiding. After 3 weeks, we increase back to more activity.
Yeah, and this is if you're already doing some moderate workout. The first slide we saw there was if you're initially not doing any workout at all. We're asking you, hey, don't do anything until after your 3rd week of the workout to begin working out after 3 weeks on program. This is if you're already doing some moderate workout. You're not really, killing yourself. We're asking you, cut back on your exercise for 3 weeks. Okay. Once you cut back on your exercise for 3 weeks, you're going to see more fat burn. Okay. You're going to see the program really working during that 3 weeks. After those 3 weeks, start adding in back into your life, your workout. Okay. Slowly bringing that back in. And then what you're going to see at that point is because of those 3 weeks that you took off or cut back on your workout, you're going to start seeing that layer of fat subside, and you're going to start seeing the muscle that you've been working so hard for before. You're going to start seeing that appear. And after 3 weeks, then we increase back even more. You start increasing back more activity, and you'll start seeing that muscle that you've been working for.
Currently intense activity. Someone's speaker is on. If they can mute that, that would be awesome. Cut exercise in half or more until your body acclimates. If training for a marathon, wait until after the event to go on our lowest calorie program. Work with your coach to increase your calories with additional lean and green fuelings. It's important to have a fueling before or after workout to avoid low blood sugar post-workout. And I can speak for this one, even in maintenance, where I eat 6 times a day, just like everyone on here should be doing. If I don't eat something before I go and work out, I have to hold on to the weights and things to catch myself, because I will notice that drop in sugar. So it is really important, no matter where you're at in your journey, that if you are adding that exercise, that you don't go on an empty stomach and you're not eating, even if it's something small, eating a fueling right before you work out, you need something in your system. If you are serious about gaining muscle, it would be worthwhile to speak with a trainer about the value of selective protein, which as branched chain amino acid, we know that is BCAAs. So, that is something you can add that will help with muscle recovery as well.
Why I'm eating fuelings instead of whole foods. Reaching a healthy weight is our first priority and most profound change you can make in your health. Whole foods do not guarantee weight loss. There are many people who eat whole foods every day and are obese. We use 5 fuelings in a lean and green because they are easy, cost-effective, and a safe way to start gaining health by losing weight. As you feel better and have more energy and are sleeping better, you will gain confidence in our system, in your coach, and in yourself. The most important thing at this point, okay, is to lose the weight, to lose that which is creating your unhealth or you being unhealthy. And so that's what the program is about. We want you to, first of all, as quickly but as safely as we can, get you to your optimal health, get you to your optimal weight, and then we can work from there. So that's why we are using fuelings instead of whole foods.
Why am I eating fuelings instead of whole foods? Your motivation will be higher to learn more than other necessary healthy habits. Motivation will be higher to learn more of the other necessary healthy habits. It is once again about timing, starting with the fueling in the 5-in-1 plan to help you reach a healthy weight. This is the most important. I don't know, I'm stuttering all over the place. We teach you the micro habits of choosing correctly at both the store and the restaurant. So you're going to know how and what maintenance will look like and what you need to get at the store once you get there, and as well as at restaurants. I'm sure all of you have access to the dining out guide that will help you stay right focused on your plan. Have full command over your weight management. At that point, you will be eating whole foods when it makes sense, and the fueling as convenient portable meals when you are short on time and if whole foods are not accessible. So we will be introducing the whole foods back in, but even now I use the fuelings in maintenance. I use them as the 3 snacks between those 3 meals that are made up of lean and green options. Checklist to success.
Just, okay. Eat 1 fueling every 2.5 to 3 hours. Don't skip meals, even if you're not hungry. It is absolutely critical to fuel as scheduled. In fact, your weight loss may slow if you don't. Get some extra rest. You may feel a little tired during the first 3 days as your body switches on its fat burning mechanism and gears up to use its stored fat. And I want to make that a key. You may feel and be extra hungry on days 2 and day 3. I always tell my clients that, hey, day 2 and day 3, you're going to cuss me, you're going to hate me. You may want to call me up and call me bad names and say, if you want to do that, go ahead and do that. But those are the first 3 days. This is why we don't want to go in and out of 5-in-1. We want to make sure that once we get to the fat burn, and that's day 4, and that's what we talked about earlier, is that it takes 4 days for your body to eat up those first accessible carbs and then those stored carbs to finally get to the fat. And that's where your body, that's where we want you to get, and that's why you get that newfound energy on day 4. Why? Is because there's more energy in that fat than those stored carbs. It's just your body wants to get, you're going to get that grumbling and, oh, I'm so hungry, because that's the easiest part for your body to eat are those carbs. It's his favorite for it to eat are those carbs. It doesn't want to reach the fat, but what we're doing is forcing it to reach that fat and start eating that. Yeah, another big key, drink at least 8 ounces of water each day. Many times we think we're hungry, and actually our body's just telling us, no, you're thirsty, but we're getting mixed signals. So we're thinking we're hungry, but it actually is thirsty. Eat slowly. I eat very slowly, and that's just something that I've always done, but I eat very slowly. Suzette eats very slowly. It's a great key, because you do get full faster if you eat slower. Okay. Stay busy, avoid sights and smells that remind you of food, especially during the first few days. Soon enough, your own energy stores will kick in and you will feel more in control.
Exactly. Use your support system. Call your coach. So
key.
If you are feeling like you're struggling or having one of those bad days, reach out to your coach. That's what we like to do. We like to support you and help you see that, yes, you can, because you can. But having that extra level of support can really help you stay focused to get to your goal.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but as a coach, radio silence is the worst, because I used to be teacher, and I have great relationship with my students, but I would, when I pass them in the hall, they'd always say, "Hi, Mr. Richie." I'm hi, you know, we'd high five everything as we're going through the hallway. But then there would come a day where we'd pass each other in the hall and they put their head down and they wouldn't talk to me and they wouldn't look at me. And at that point was when, okay, I know something's going on. They're up to something they're not supposed to be up to. Okay. So I would call them into my classroom. Okay. And what's going on? All right. It's the same thing I found in coaching, that as soon as someone has done something that they feel a little bit guilty about, that we go into radio silence. And that's the exact wrong thing, the exact opposite thing we need to do. We need the support. You need the support. You need somebody there to say, hey, yeah, let's pick this up. Let's get going again. Let's go in the right direction. So make sure you're calling your coach. Make sure you're staying up on, well, they need to know what you're doing and how you're doing. We need to know that. So it's a huge key.
It really is. Connecting with your community. This is great that you're on this on Saturday morning. That is fantastic. We have the Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time. If you want to get on that one, another community call, meeting with your coach in person if you live near them or online, but that community really is very supportive. Limit caffeine to no more than 3 servings a day. You might find that your body is more sensitive to caffeine, making this a great time to cut back. So if you're someone that nurses your coffee all day long, maybe just drink it in the morning, or drink a cup in the morning, a cup in the afternoon, or your tea or whatever, instead of thinking that it's okay to replace your water with the beverages that have the caffeine. I would really recommend cutting that back. Avoid high carb alcohol. It causes dehydration. The body looks at alcohol as basically poison and will want to burn that before it burns anything else. So even if it's a low carb, it can slow your weight loss because the alcohol must leave the body first. And, you know, if you're someone that has been accustomed to drinking a glass of wine in the evening with your dinner, and I'm sure your coach has said, you know, pick something else because of the sugar and the carbs that's in wine, that can throw you out of fat burn. So, you know, some may have tequila or vodka, whatever your choice is, but know that even if it doesn't throw you out of fat burn, it will slow the progress of your weight loss because your body will not touch the stored fat until it gets all that alcohol out of your system. So be mindful of that.
If you slip up, just get back on track. Remember, it will take 2 to 4 days to get back into fat burn. This is why Suzette always likes to remind people that, you know, is that cake or is that glass of wine, is that whatever, is it worth $45? Because that's basically what it's going to cost you to get back into fat burn. Okay. Over those days, it's going to cost, you know, that's how much fuelings you're going to have to spend to get back into fat burn. So remember the cost, not just the cost, to what it, you know, to what it's doing to your body, but also the cost it's doing to your wallet of those 2 to 4 days. Okay. But you can, and you will get back into fat burn as soon as you start going again. Avoid exercise for the first 3 weeks. If you have not been exercising consistently, we talked about that. If you do choose to exercise or have been consistently exercising, reduce your usual amount by half until after the 3rd week. I know a lot of people are really addicted to exercise. I know I have, right? I'm in that position now that I don't have to go to the gym. I love to go to the gym, okay? And I know there's a lot of people that way, that I'm probably on this call right now. But if you're beginning and you haven't started, if you're just now starting and you're not exercising, don't, for at least the first 3 weeks, that 4th week, start adding something. Go back as we talked about, talking about the NEAT, the non-exercise, just adding additional walking and adding additional things to your life that are going to add more steps. Okay. And look at EAT also, which is exercise. So look at those 2 recordings.
How long will you be in phase 1? Well, that depends. Everybody's at a different stage when they start. Primarily, it's on how much weight you want to lose. How focused are you on staying consistently on the 5 and 1? That is also key. If you are not 5-in-1-ishing it and doing the program exactly as it's designed, of course, you're going to get to your goal quicker. While your weight loss can be whatever you determined is healthy for you, there are some guidelines concerning body composition. Generally speaking, if your waist circumference is 37 inches for a man or 31.5 inches for a woman, and your BMI is less than 25%, you probably are right where your goal was. You're ready for transition to phase 2. Now, this next part is key because I've had a lot of people that will get to their goal, whatever it is, 120 pounds, whatever, and just say, okay, I'm there, I'm done. But in general, you need to stay in phase 1 until you meet your goal and you have stayed there for 2 weeks. So 2 full weeks of being at your goal to make sure you're staying there, then hit transition. And that transition is 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how much weight you have lost. But it is so important that you continue on your program, the 5-in-1 or 4-in-2, whatever you're on, for 2 weeks after hitting your goal, and then start transition. So that once you get into maintenance, it's not going to be hard at all to maintain not just the weight loss, which is what a lot of people start only concerned about, but the whole health that you're going to gain.
If you have a lot of weight to lose, I'm sorry, how long will I be in phase 1? Depends. If you have a lot of weight to lose, you'll be in phase 1 for a while. Weight loss can vary depending on gender. We heard this earlier today. I think someone said their husband had lost 15 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, but lost a lot more than
they had lost a lot more than she had. Well, and gender has a lot to do with that, guys. God made us differently, and certain medical conditions that may slow down your weight loss, such as hypothyroidism, I've always struggled with that, and PCOS. There are truly the basics of our program. It's always great to review these basics as often as you can while in phase 1. And that's really what this was important. We felt this was important today to go back and talk about these things, because we've had some questions over this week about some things that we thought, well, it's very important that if, and hopefully those people who've called are on, that to come back and say, okay, well, why are we doing the program the way we're doing the program? How is designed? How does this program work? This is great for those who are in the program who really don't know. They know the program's working because they see the weight coming off, but they don't understand why the program works the way it does. This is why the program works the way it does. And for coaches also to really get a good grasp on why, if they're asked, well, how does your program work? This is a great slide. This is a great presentation here for you to understand, okay, this is how our program works. This is exactly why it works the way it does. And so it's always great to go back, review the basics. Why does this happen? As a coach, basketball coach for years, as a teacher, always like to have the whole part whole. So I always like to say, hey, this is the program. This is what the program looks like. Let's break it down. And this is what, in basketball, this is what the play looks like. We're going to break down every step and understand why the play works that way. Because it was always easy for me to coach my basketball players when they understood why they did the things they did. Okay, why I needed them to go this way instead of going that way. Why I needed them to do this instead of doing the other way. So this is a great way for you to understand the basics of the program. As you're settling into phase 1 is important, and this was actually could have gone earlier in to the slides, but I thought it was very important to put it here at the very near the very end. As you're settling into phase 1, it is important that you do a review to make sure that you are not accidentally consuming a hidden carbohydrate source. This can slow down or even stop your weight loss now in the future. This is why we talk about BLTs, the bites, the licks, the tastes. It's very important, and you need to start reviewing. If you're not losing the weight as you feel like you should be, or where you're at, it's very important to step back and take an inventory of exactly what you're consuming. Okay, what are you doing? Are you consuming any hidden carbohydrates that are slowing down your progress? So I put this towards the end because I want you to, this is a key if you are saying, hey, you know, I'm not losing like I think I should, okay?
That is the end. Well, I know we had a couple questions. Oh, no, somebody just talking. Okay. So, this really looking at phase one, if you didn't get the books, the Habits of Health book and the Life book, there's such great resources that I would recommend getting your hands on them. But, of course, we do have a lot of things that are digital. But reaching out to your coach and asking those questions, knowing that each phase has got a purpose in the program, and we want to work through those phases to get to that last phase. Is walking considered exercising? Well, walking is great movement. So, walking daily, even if you're starting out small, I would start that right away. That is good on your joints, and, it's nice to be outside if you're walking outside, but I wouldn't start running a marathon at the beginning, but definitely walking is good movement. Go ahead.
As what was in the notes, and I'm hoping it was there, really what they're talking about is anything that makes you sweat. Okay, if it's going to cause you, we're not talking about going into the gym and lifting a whole bunch of weights, but if it's going to make you sweat, if it's going to make you over sweat, then that's what Dr. A is talking about, and saying that so walking would not be considered exercise. It's just good, healthy movement that you need to be doing.
Right. Does anyone have any questions? Anything you want to add?
Is that?
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that you touched upon the transition, because I think many times clients think once they get to their goal, they're there. And as you said, this is what separates us from just a diet, because you're transitioning your body to maintain that weight. So it's real important to do that transition.
Right. Absolutely. In fact, I think that is one of our most important parts of our, I'm trying to get that to quit dinging, of our program, is the transition. So, and like it said, once you get to your goal, make sure that you are staying focused on the program that you're on for 2 full weeks after getting to your goal, because we want to make sure that we can go into the transition properly. Does anyone else have a question?
Was this helpful at all for anybody that's struggling in any area?
Good, good. I'm glad. Because we want it to be something that you're going to definitely get information out of, either that you had forgotten or reconfirm things that you already knew. So. All right.
But I thought it was interesting when you talked about explaining something to your basketball players. I've never thought of my basketball coach explaining something to me.
Oh, he was fantastic at teaching basketball.
I learned a lot from my older brother, Adrian, Connie's husband.
All right. Well, I hope you guys all have, if you are moms or you're going to be around your mom, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. But I hope everyone has a great weekend. Get out and enjoy yourself this weekend. Lauren, have fun at your reception you're getting ready to go to. But anyways, I hope everyone has a great day and a great weekend, and we will see you next week.